Hey there, welcome everybody to another edition, to a special Saturday night edition of TXN Sports World. I am your host, Anthony Florio. I am joined, as always, by Michael Bullock. Of course, as you all know, good old MF Michael Fletcher will not be joining us for our shows anytime soon. We will keep that, under wraps there. If you read he did post on Facebook, so if you saw it, you know. And the only thing that Bullock and I can say before we start here tonight is our thoughts and our prayers are with MF and his family, and we wish them well. And MF, like we've been saying, you take all the time you need, you come back when you're ready, and we got you, man. Prayers up. That's all there is to say. So, but we're gonna do what we always do, and we're gonna make you proud of us here tonight and do the show justice. So, so with all that being said, let's get into the docket here for tonight on this special Saturday night edition of TXN Sports World. And we're going to start it off with something that MF always promoted here on our programs over the years, the Big Three. And I will be stepping in and I will be covering the Big Three for him. And here we go. This past last Sunday, the Big Three returned from a 1-week hiatus due to the 4th of July holiday festivities, and they emanated from the TD Garden in Boston, Massachusetts. 3 games on CBS and 1 game on Vice TV. So with all that being said, let's dive on into the action. The first game of the day featured my featured my team, the Miami 305, squaring off against the winless DMV Trilogy. DMV actually had Miami down 25-18 in the first half, but then in the second half, it was all Miami outscoring DMV 34-24, and the Miami 305 literally snatching victory from the jaws of defeat, defeating the DMV Trilogy 52-49. Miami improves to 3-1 on this season. The DMV Trilogy dropped to 0-4. In the second game, it featured the Dallas Power squaring off against the Chicago Triplets, and it was the Chicago Triplets winning the game by a score of 50-45. Chicago improving to 3-1. Dallas dropping to 2-2. The third game, the feature game of week number 5 in Boston, a renewal of the greatest basketball rivalry, Los Angeles versus Boston. The Los Angeles Riot squaring off against the hometown Boston Ball Hogs, and the Boston Ball Hogs winning this game by a score of 51-43. Boston improves to 2-2. LA drops to 2-2. And then in the final game of the evening, it was the Detroit Amps squaring off against the Houston Rig Hands, and it was the Detroit Amps winning the game by a score of 50-40. Detroit improves to 3-1. Houston drops to 1-3. Interesting because of the fact that the Houston Rig Hands formerly were Bivouac. And you remember Bivouac won the Big Three championship last season. So they are right now in danger of possibly missing out on the Big Three postseason. The current standings, we have a 3-way tie at the top with Detroit, Miami, and Chicago all at 3-1. Dallas, Boston, and Los Angeles are all 2-2. Houston is 1-3. And the DMV Trilogy are at 0-4. Only the top 4 teams make the playoffs. So Detroit, Miami, and Chicago would be in. And I am I would imagine that Dallas, I believe, would have the tiebreaker over Boston and LA for that final spot. But there's still a few weeks left. The playoffs are not until Sunday, August 17th. That will be the semifinal round. And then the following week, August 24th, will be the Big Three championship game from the Edition Financial Arena in Orlando, Florida, in addition to the Big Three All-Star game that also takes place prior to that. So that's the story on that. And now let's set the table for week number 6 of the Big Three, which will take place tomorrow afternoon and evening from the Little Caesars Arena in Detroit, Michigan, the home of the Detroit Red Wings and the Detroit Pistons. And here we go. The first, it'll tip off after 3 p.m. It'll be at 3 o'clock Eastern. The first game will feature the Los Angeles Riot squaring off against the Chicago Triplets. Big game there. Second game, it'll feature the Dallas Power squaring off against my team, the Miami 305. The third game will feature the winless DMV Trilogy, still in search of their first win, and they will look to do it against the hometown team, the Detroit Amps. And in the final game, and those first 3 games will all be on CBS. The final game, only the final game, will air on Vice TV around 6 o'clock or so, and it will feature the Houston Rig Hands squaring off against the Boston Ball Hogs. So that is the action that you will see tomorrow, starting at 3 on CBS. For those all 3 of those first games on CBS, the last game, Vice TV. Check your local listings in your area. So that is your Big Three summary. And with that now being said, we are now going to move on to Major League Baseball. Big week for them, as this past week we had the All-Star festivities, and we started off with the Major League Baseball Home Run Derby. Home Run Derby and the All-Star Game emanating live from Truist Park in Atlanta, Georgia, the home of good old MF Michael Fletcher's team, the Atlanta Braves. I'm sure he is very pleased with what they've done to my Yankees these last couple of nights. I'm sure he's watching right now. He's saying, yeah, where was this in 96 and 99 in the World Series? But story for another day. But anyways, from the Seattle Mariners, Cal Raleigh. Cal Raleigh of the Seattle Mariners made history as the first catcher to win the T-Mobile Home Run Derby, defeating Junior Caminero of the Tampa Bay Rays in the finals on Monday night. With his father pitching and his brother behind the plate, the man they call Big Dumper took home the title to follow up a torrid first half, during which he hit 38 home runs before the All-Star break. Raleigh very nearly didn't make it out of the first round, finishing tied for fourth with the Athletics' Brent Rooker with 17 homers. But his longest stinger of the round surpassed Rooker's by about an inch, 470.62 feet, compared to Rooker's 470.54, allowing him to take the tiebreaker and move on. O'Neal Cruz of the Pittsburgh Pirates also put on a show for the Atlanta crowd, launching a 513-foot blast that was tied for the longest non-Coors Field home run in Home Run Derby history, though the Pirates slugger was eliminated in the semifinals. So with all that being said, let's get into what happened here with the results. In no particular order, we started off with James Wood of the Washington Nationals. It took the young National slugger a little while to heat up, but Wood rounded into fine form in his first Derby performance. He homered on 6 of his final 8 swings and added 2 more homers in his bonus round to reach 16 in all. Wood's second homer traveled 486 feet, longest home run in a home run derby, not counting Coors Field in 2021, since Vladimir Guerrero Jr.'s 488-foot shot in the 2019 Derby. His longest home run was 486 feet. Hardest home run was 112 miles an hour. Average homer distance, 435 feet. and average exit velocity of 106 miles an hour. Brent Rooker of the Athletics. Rooker started on an absolute heater, homering on his first 3 swings and 8 of his first 9. After hitting his 8th home run 45 seconds into the round, however, Rooker slowed down, only homering 6 more times before he got going again in the bonus round. Once there, Rooker smashed 3 more home runs, pushing his total to 17. When Rooker was hot, he was crushing home runs to the pole side, hitting 6 homers at least 440 feet. Longest home run, 471 feet. Hardest home run, 112 miles an hour. Average distance, 428 feet, and an average exit velocity of 106.1 miles an hour. Junior Caminero of the Tampa Bay Rays made it look easy in the opening round of his first derby, swatting 21 homers, all but one of which was hit to left or left center field, and getting impressive loft on his swing. The Rays' third baseman showed why he has the second highest bat speed in the major leagues, blasting homers as far as 474 feet twice to take the lead over Brent Rooker and James Wood. Plus, he did it all while swinging a bat with his own likeness on it. Longest homer, 475 feet. Hardest homer, 117 miles an hour. An average distance of 442 feet and an average exit velocity of 107.5 miles an hour. O'Neal Cruz from the Pittsburgh Pirates. Nobody in baseball hits the ball harder than O'Neal Cruz, so it was no surprise that he put on a show in his first home run derby. Among his 21 impressive homers, one of them stood alone, a 513-foot shot that left Cruz's bat at a scalding 118 miles an hour. That was tied with Aaron Judge in 2017 in Miami for the 4th longest home run derby homer since StatCast began tracking in 2016. It's also tied for the longest home run that was not hit at Coors Field in the 2021 derby. Longest homer, 513 feet, 118 mile an hour, the hardest. 447 feet average distance, and an average exit velocity of 111 miles an hour. Byron Buxton of the Minnesota Twins. Talk about some majestic dingers. Nearly every one of his 20 blasts was a skyscraper arcing high into the Atlanta night as the Twin star closed his first round strong, hitting 7 homers in the final minute, then crushed 4 homers before he even made an out in his bonus round. Fresh off hitting for the cycle the Saturday before, Buxton maxed out at 466 feet on his homers. 466, the longest, 112 miles an hour, hardest, 427 feet, that the average distance, and an average exit velocity of 106.3 miles an hour. Jazz Chisholm Jr. of the New York Yankees, the most disappointing round of them all. No stranger to the home run derby, he has participated in the Don't Blink home run derby in previous off seasons in the Bahamas, where he calls home. Chisholm struggled his first time in the MLB version. He homered just once in his first 15 swings before taking a timeout. Chisholm's 3 home runs were the fewest in the first round since the derby format changed from an outs format to a timer in 2015. His longest was 453 feet. Hardest hit was 107 miles an hour. Average distance, 421 feet. Exit velocity average of 105.7 miles an hour. Cal Raleigh of the Seattle Mariners, 17 homers in the first round, becoming the second player to switch sides of the plate in the home run derby, joining the Baltimore Orioles catcher Adley Rutschman in 2023. And the Mariner backstop did it twice. MLB's home run leader started his round as a left-handed batter, hitting 8 homers before switching to the other side of the plate after his timeout, hitting 7 homers right-handed, then switched back to the left side for his bonus round and hit 2 more to tie Brent Rooker at 17. By virtue of his longest homer going 470.62 feet compared to Rooker's 470.54 feet, Raleigh moved on. The longest was 471 feet. Hardest homer was 112 miles an hour. Average distance, 430 feet. And an exit velocity of 106.7 miles an hour. The hometown hero, Matt Olson of the Atlanta Braves. Born in Atlanta and having manned first base for the Braves since 2022, Olson had the chance to play hometown hero, the only contestant with previous derby experience, hitting 23 home runs in the first round of the home run derby in 21 in Colorado, but was eliminated. Olson struggled out of the gate by going homerless on his first 9 swings. Olson turned it around, hitting all 15 home runs after his first one at 202, but he finished just short of moving on. Longest homer was 460 feet. Hardest was 109 miles an hour. Average distance, 415 feet, and an exit velocity of 105 miles an hour. And then Byron Buxton struggled in the semis after slugging 20 homers in round one. He hit just one homer in his first 10 swings before picking up the pace to finish with 6 in regulation and adding one other during the bonus round. His longest homer was 456 feet, longer than all but one of his first round homers, 466 feet. The hardest in this round was 108 miles an hour, average distance 416 feet, average velocity of 105.7. Junior Caminero, after crushing 21 homers in the first round, Caminero needed less than a minute in the semifinals to advance to the finals after hitting 8 home runs and passing Buxton's total. Caminero joined former Ray, Randy Arozarena, who lost in the 2023 Derby to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. in Seattle, as the only Rays hitters to make it to the Home Run Derby finals. Longest homer was 460 feet. The hardest was 113 miles an hour. Average distance, 433 feet, and an exit velocity of 107.6 miles an hour. Cal Raleigh, in an incredible semifinal performance, demonstrated why he hit the second most homers by any player before the All-Star break in MLB history. Unlike round one, he batted left-handed the entire time rather than switch hitting, and it paid off. He homered on 4 of his first 5 swings for a stellar start to his round, stayed hot after his timeout, totaling 16 homers in regulation and adding 3 more in the bonus round. Longest was 465 feet. Hardest was 109 miles an hour. Average distance was 430 feet and an exit velocity of 104.8 miles an hour. O'Neal Cruz did not advance to the finals, but he still put on one of the most electrifying Derby performances we've ever seen. After hitting a 513-foot homer in the first round, he demolished his 11th home run at a whopping 498 feet, second longest home run in this Derby. In total, Cruz hit 34 home runs across 2 rounds, averaging 448 feet with 111.4 mile an hour exit velocity. 18 of Cruz's homers traveled at least 450 feet. And then from there, in the finals, Cal Raleigh put on quite the show in the finals, ending regulation with a last-second homer to right center to reach 15 before hitting 3 more in the bonus round. At one point, the catcher homered on 6 straight pitches, 3 before his timeout and 3 after it. Again, batting solely left-handed, Raleigh increased his home run derby total to 54 home runs. Longest was 464 feet. The hardest was 110 miles an hour. Average distance, 429 feet. Exit velocity, 105.5 miles an hour. And Junior Caminero, at 22 years and 9 days old, Caminero became dangerously close to becoming the youngest player to ever win the Home Run Derby. Caminero had the unfortunate task of running into the buzzsaw that Raleigh has been in 2025. It was quite the performance for Caminero, who showed why he's one of the brightest young power hitters in baseball and put on a show with 44 home runs that traveled an average distance of 435 feet. In this round, it was 469 feet, the longest, 111 mile an hour, the hardest, average distance 427 feet, and an average velocity of 106.7 miles an hour. Needless to say, this home run derby was, let's just say after the last few years, it's been banger after banger after banger after banger. I mean, Michael Bullock and I had our Raw chat this past Monday night. So we were multitasking. We were not only watching the home run derby, of course, we were also keeping an eye on Monday Night Raw as well. And both of those delivered one of the most entertaining and exciting Monday nights of action we have seen in a long time. And it was so much fun to watch, both Raw and the home run derby. And that's definitely what we would consider a banner Monday night. And that home run derby just keeps getting better and better and better and more exciting every year. And congratulations to Cal Raleigh of the Seattle Mariners winning it, becoming only the second to do it. The other, of course, Ken Griffey Jr., when he won 3 of them, including one at Fenway Park in 1999. And just an all-around exciting night. And there isn't much more for me to add. And, of course, Cal Raleigh presented a special championship belt by the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. He was on hand for it, and pretty cool stuff. So not much more for me to add. So Michael Bullock, come on in. 2025 Home Run Derby. We had a lot of fun watching this in addition to Monday Night Raw this past Monday night as part of our Raw chat. And man, we ate it all up, and Home Run Derby just keeps getting better and better every year. Banger after banger after banger.
Oh yeah, it definitely keeps getting better with banger after banger. And yeah, I mean, Cal Raleigh, the Major League's home run leader, becoming the first catcher to win the Derby. And like you said, he almost didn't get out of that first round. I mean, he barely did. And yeah, and obviously Brent Rooker, missing it, and obviously was not happy basically with that they waited until like after the last participant to show that he only missed by that much. So yeah, it was crazy. It was another really good home run derby, and congratulations to all the participants. They all put on a good home run derby, but at the end of the day, it's Raleigh who gets it done. So yeah, there's really nothing more for me to add on to it. So Philadelphia, you got a tough one to follow next year with the home run derby. So with that being said, Florio, let's get into the All-Star game itself.
The fly ball of Jonathan Aranda's bat stayed in the park, and the National Leaguers, assembled in front of the home dugout, jumped for joy. No All-Star game had ever ended like this. No MLB game had. It was the sort of ending ordinarily reserved for wiffle ball wonderment of our most bonkers baseball dreams. But here it was in real life at Truist Park this past Tuesday night. A home run swing-off to settle a tie, and with Philly slugger Kyle Schwarber going deep with all three of his allotted swings to give the National League the lead, and Tampa Bay's Jonathan Aranda unable to answer in the American League's last try, this one went to the senior circuit. What will go down technically as a 7-6 win, just the second for the National League in the last 12 Midsummer Classics, the 95th All-Star game was the first of its kind. It was 6-6 after 9 innings, and then the NL out-homered the AL 4-3 in what was arranged as a 6-man swing-off. Because of his perfect showing in the swing-off, Kyle Schwarber of the Philadelphia Phillies was named the Ted Williams All-Star Game MVP presented by Chevrolet. It was awesome, Schwarber said of the experience. The guys were really into it. They were yelling, screaming, cheering me on every swing. When that last one goes over, they were all pumped. It was a lot of fun. The tater-driven tiebreaker was installed as part of the current collective bargaining agreement, but never needed until the American League stormed back from a 6-0 deficit and wound up tying the regulation tilt in the top of the ninth. American League manager Aaron Boone and National League manager Dave Roberts each selected 3 players to receive 3 swings apiece, with the most total homers per side victorious. And this is how it played out. National League 4 homers, Kyle Sowers of the Miami Marlins with 1, Kyle Schwarber of the Philadelphia Phillies with 3, and Pete Alonso of the New York Mets didn't even have to swing. For the American League, 3 homers, Brent Rooker of the A's with 2, Randy Arozarena of the Seattle Mariners 1, and Jonathan Aranda of the Tampa Bay Rays 0. Alonso, who had opted not to vie for his 3rd home run derby crown in the event a night earlier, but did raise his hand for the swing-off, did not need to bat because the NL had prevailed prior to his turn. Aaron Boone said, I got to say, it was pretty exciting. Like all of a sudden, here we go. And the camaraderie that you kind of build these last couple of days with the team, I think went into overdrive there. The in-game recognition on July 15th of Hammer and Hank Aaron's famous 715th homer to pass Babe Ruth proved prescient. during an impressive projection of Aaron, pitcher Al Downing, and the others on the field in a pyrotechnic blast reproducing the flight of one of the most famous home runs in MLB history, we once again heard the call of the late, great Vin Scully. That ball is going to be out of here. A lot of balls were out of here. The 3-run blast from Alonso that broke the game open for the NL in the 6th. The solo shot from the Diamondbacks' Corbin Carroll later that inning made it 6-0. And the 3-run shot from the A's Rooker, who had been ousted from the home run derby by a 0.8-inch tiebreaker that brought the AL back to life in the 7th. Because of its blast, the NL had a 6-4 lead late. It was a lead preserved in the 8th by the Miz, Brewers phenom Jacob Misiorowski, who was appointed an all-star replacement just 5 starts into his MLB career. It did not disappoint in hitting 102.3 mile an hour on the gun with his fastball and 98.1 with his slider in a scoreless outing. But in the 9th, the AL Central specifically made its presence known, with the Twins' Byron Buxton and the Royals' Bobby Witt Jr. doubling in succession off the Padres' Robert Suarez to get a run home and make it 6-5. Later, with 2 outs and Mets closer Edwin Diaz on the hill, the Cleveland Guardians' Stephen Kwan hit a squibbler to the third base side and legged out an infield single that allowed Witt to streak home from third with a tying run. Per the Elias Sports Bureau, it was the largest comeback in All-Star Game history to tie or take the lead, surpassing the previous record of 5 runs by the National League in 1955. After Red Sox closer Aroldis Chapman worked a 1-2-3 bottom of the 9th, the swing-off was on. The previous 13 All-Star games tied up to 9 innings, proceeded to extra innings. The swing-off was a newfangled way of settling things efficiently. On the innovation front, this was the first All-Star game to feature the automated ball strike challenge system, which resulted in 3 erroneous calls getting overturned in short order. The ABS challenge could be coming to an MLB park near you as soon as 2026. So, not much more to say on that. The game began with an old-school battle of aces. The scheduled Skeens-Skubal skirmish went to the Pirates' Paul Skeens, who in his second All-Star start in only his second season pitched a 1-2-3 first, prior to the Tigers' reigning AL Cy Young winner Tyreek Skubal getting touched by a 2-run double from the D-backs' Ketel Marte. Though that Marte double got the NL on the board early and a 4-run 6 had the senior circuit in a commanding position, this All-Star game became awfully interesting in the late innings and in an extra special ending that had both sides swinging for the fences Henry Aaron's style. No doubt Hammer and Hank would approve of the NL winning the slugfest. So there's your story of the MLB All-Star game. So Michael Bullock, man, what a crazy 2 nights in Atlanta, and an insane home run derby, and then a swing off to determine the winner of the All-Star game. I like to see more of this in the future.
I definitely would either. And there's going to be some people like, where the hell was this in 2002 when that All-Star game ended in a tie? It still boggles my mind, Florio, to this very day, why that All-Star game had a tie. But anywho, I like this. I hope they stick with this, but it definitely added to the intrigue. And yeah, it was an enjoyable All-Star game. Especially with this home run derby to pretty much determine who was going to win the All-Star game. And yeah, my guy, Aroldis Chapman, did get in there and did what he had to do. So yeah, so other than that, like you just said, Florio, it was enjoyable. And like I said, I want to see more of those home run swing-offs when the games are tied. And of course, to first try out the new challenging of a ball and strike. So hopefully, hopefully we'll see that in Major League Baseball somewhere down the line. So we'll see. So it's yours, Florio.
Absolutely. Great all-star festivities both ways. I've always said it over the years that the home run derby is more exciting than the game itself, and it looked like the National League was going to run away with it, but then the American League stormed back to tie it up, and and then this first ever swing off to determine the winner. I mean, 100% agree with what Bullock said. I mean, how I wish we could have had this back in 2002. I wish they would have come up with this idea in 2002, and then we never would have had that tie in Milwaukee. I mean, that would have been that would have been way more exciting. But nonetheless, a very exciting All-Star game. Definitely will go down as one of the greatest All-Star games of all time. I still consider 2008 as the greatest All-Star game of all time. Not just because it was at the old Yankee Stadium, but because of the fact that it went 15 innings before an old friend of Bullock's, Mr. J.D. Drew, ended that night. So, but nonetheless, fantastic All-Star game, fantastic home run derby, and not much more to say to that. So, like Bullock said earlier, Philadelphia, you got a very tough act to follow. 2026 All-Star Game will emanate live 1 year from now at Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia, the home of the Philadelphia Phillies. And with that being said, let's continue on here. And we are going to get into now the 33rd annual ESPY Awards that took place this past Wednesday night at the Dolby Theater in Los Angeles, California on ABC. Comedian Shane Gillis hosted the ceremony. And with that being said, let's get into our winners here. For the honorary, we'll start with the honorary awards. The Stuart Scott Inspire Award was awarded to Billy Beane. The Icon Award, we had two winners, Alex Morgan and Diana Taurasi. Sports Humanitarian Team of the Year went to the Indianapolis Colts. The Muhammad Ali Sports Humanitarian Award went to Sloane Stephens. The Pat Tillman Award for Service went to Los Angeles County firefighters David Walters and Aaron Regan. The Arthur Ashe Award for Courage went to NBA legend and Hall of Famer Oscar Robertson, formerly of the Milwaukee Bucks way back when. And the very prestigious Jimmy V Award was awarded to Katie Schumacher Cawley. And now we get into the main awards. Best tennis player went to Coco Gauff. Best UFC fighter, and I apologize for the butchering of the name on this, Mirab Divalishvili was awarded best UFC fighter. Best boxer went to Katie Taylor. The best golfer went to Scotty Scheffler. Best driver was Max Verstappen of Formula One. Best soccer player, Christian Pulisic of AC Milan /US. Best WNBA player, no surprise here, that went to Caitlin Clark of the Indiana Fever. Best NBA player went to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander of the now NBA champion Oklahoma City Thunder. Best NHL player went to Leon Draisaitl of the back-to-back Western Conference champion Edmonton Oilers. Best Major League Baseball player, that went to Shohei Ohtani of the World Series champion Los Angeles Dodgers. Best NFL player went to Saquon Barkley of the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. Best record-breaking performance, there could only be one, and that was the grade 8, Alexander Ovechkin, when he scored his 895th goal to break Wayne Gretzky's all-time NHL goals record. The best play was Saquon Barkley's backwards hurdle against the Jacksonville Jaguars last season. Best athlete with a disability, Noah Elliott, a snowboarder. Best championship performance went to Simone Biles of the 2024 Summer Olympics and the women's all-around. The best team went to the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. Best female college athlete was Juju Watkins of USC basketball. The best male college athlete, no surprise here, that went to Cooper Flagg from Duke basketball, of course. Best comeback athlete, Suni Lee of gymnastics. Best breakthrough athlete, Ilona Mar from rugby. Best female athlete went to Simone Biles. And the best male athlete, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander of the NBA champion Oklahoma City Thunder. Okay, now I'm going to comment on, I will give you my thoughts on most of these, not all of these. The honorary awards, I'm not even going to touch those. I know all of them, all of those winners were more than deserving of those accolades. Tennis player, I'll be honest, I don't really follow tennis that much, but I would have gone with Yannick Sinner. He just won Wimbledon about a week ago. Number one player in the world right now. UFC fighter, I mean, here and there UFC, but I don't really have a thought on that one. I don't really know most of these folks. Same can be said for boxing, although I do know I have heard of Claressa Shields. I know she's a trailblazer in the sport of boxing, but Katie Taylor, the winner there. Golf, I'm sure Bullock will probably address that more because I know Bullock watches a little more golf than I do. But I do know Scotty Scheffler, and I'm not going to argue that one. I don't really follow race car driving or soccer, to be honest with you. WNBA player, of course, it was Caitlin Clark. It had to be Caitlin Clark. I mean, Caitlin Clark is the best female basketball player in the world today. And unfortunately, she had to miss tonight's WNBA All-Star game due to a groin injury. And we all know what she did in college, all the records that she set at the University of Iowa. And then taking that talent right to the WNBA and picking up right where she left off in her college career. So very impressive what she did there. NBA player, definitely Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I mean, he was the best player in the game this year. Had some very stiff competition. I mean, Nikola Jokic of the Denver Nuggets, Giannis Antetokounmpo of the Milwaukee Bucks, and Bullock's guy, Jason Tatum of the Boston Celtics. I mean, all very worthy candidates, but SGA, let's be realistic. He was the MVP of the season. You could pretty much say he was the catalyst behind the Oklahoma City Thunder winning their first ever NBA championship last month. So congratulations to SGA, well deserved. NHL player Leon Draisaitl, why not? I mean, him and Connor McDavid, that's the best duo in the game today. Stiff competition of his own. He had to deal with Nikita Kucherov of the Tampa Bay Lightning, Cale Makar of the Colorado Avalanche, and Connor Hellebuck from the President's Trophy winning Winnipeg Jets. But Draisaitl had the best all-around season. It carried over, and one of the reasons why the Edmonton Oilers made a return trip to the Stanley Cup Finals. Unfortunately, it ended just like it did last year. They came up short against the buzzsaw that is the Florida Panthers right now. Baseball, of course, there was Shohei Ohtani. I can't say I'm surprised with that one. I would have made an argument for my guy, Aaron Judge of the New York Yankees. Of course, Freddie Freeman was also in that list, Ohtani's teammate. And, of course, the best pitcher in the game right now, Tariq Skubal of the Detroit Tigers, the reigning Cy Young Award winner, and is well on his way to winning another one if he keeps doing what he's doing this year. But Ohtani, we all know he is the face of Major League Baseball right now. And, you know, there's no one better. I mean, the only one who I think can challenge him is Aaron Judge. But Ohtani, he's the man. In the NFL, Saquon Barkley, I mean, he had some stiff competition of his own. He had my guy, Josh Allen, JA-17 of the Buffalo Bills. NFL MVP Josh Allen to you. Lamar Jackson of the Baltimore Ravens, and Patrick Surtain II, who was the defensive player of the year in the NFL this past season with the upstart Denver Broncos. But Saquon Barkley, 2,000 yards of rushing, had a legitimate chance to set to break Eric Dickerson's 40-year-old record, a record that has stood for 40 years. But it came down to that final week, and Eagles head coach, you know the story. Eagles head coach Nick Sirianni made the decision to not risk Saquon Barkley because they needed him for the playoffs, and that ended up being a great decision because we all know what happened. Saquon Barkley turned it up an extra notch in the playoffs, including that epic touchdown run in the snow in that divisional game against the LA Rams, and of course they rode all the way to the Super Bowl and won it all. Record-breaking performance, Alexander Ovechkin. We saw the moment as it happened. Unreal. That was back in April, as we all know. That was about a week or two before the playoffs, and it was a nationally televised game on TNT on a Sunday afternoon against the New York Islanders. He broke the record, and his Capital teammates mobbing him. I mean, they celebrated like they had just won the Stanley Cup at that moment. I mean, that's a moment we'll never forget for as long as we live. We never thought we'd see the day where someone would break the great one's record, but Alexander Ovechkin, he did it, and that was the only real record-breaking performance, so there was no other. Saquon Barkley's hurdle in against Jacksonville last season, that's a play that's been on highlight reels ever since it happened. You see it on YouTube and social media all the time of that moment. Don't really know the athletes with a disability. Championship performance, Simone Biles in the Olympics. I don't really watch the Summer Olympics. I know that's an MF thing. I know MF loves the Olympics. I know he probably followed that. Stephen Curry from last year's Olympics in the basketball tournament. Freddie Freeman in the World Series. I mean, absolutely. And Rory McIlroy winning his first Masters title, completing his career Grand Slam. Best team, it was going to be Philly. I mean, you had some very stiff competition. You had the Dodgers in there. You had the Panthers in there, the Thunder, the Ohio State Buckeyes, who won the college football playoff national championship. The UConn women winning another national championship for the legendary Gino Auriemma, and the U.S. women's national team of soccer, the women's lacrosse team of North Carolina, the New York Liberty, when they finally won their first ever WNBA championship after 27 years. An original WNBA team, oh, by the way. But Philly, the Eagles, with the dominance in the regular season and the way they manhandled the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl. I mean, we'll never forget that. I know I won't. Female college athlete, Juju Watkins, absolutely. And one of the reasons why USC, I believe, had the number 1 overall seed in the women's tournament. But unfortunately, they did not win the national championship. They got ousted. But Juju Watkins had a fantastic season, and unfortunately, it got derailed by a devastating injury during the tournament. But she was still the best all-around female college athlete. Male college athlete, that's a no contest. It was Cooper Flagg. The only one who was closest to him was Travis Hunter, who won the Heisman Trophy in college football with what he did at Colorado with Coach Prime, but Cooper Flagg. Even before his own devastating injury during the ACC tournament, I mean, he had an unbelievable season. It translated into the NCAA tournament, and it did not end up the way that MF was hoping for. Losing in the Final Four against Houston, I mean, absolutely demoralizing. Comeback athlete, I don't really know Suni Lee. I do know Lindsey Vonn. I do know Gabriel Landeskog, and don't really know Mallory Swanson, but congrats to Suni Lee. Breakthrough athlete. With all due respect to the rugby player, Alona Marr, I would have given this to Cooper Flagg. Cooper Flagg should have been the breakthrough athlete, if I'm being honest. Female athlete, Simone Biles. Considering the rest of the field, I can understand why they gave it to her. And the best male athlete, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. You could have made an argument for any of these guys on the list. SGA, Josh Allen of the Buffalo Bills, Shohei Ohtani, and Saquon Barkley. but SGA with what he did for the Thunder. So a fantastic SB Awards, a great SB Awards, and congratulations to all the winners. So not much more to say. Michael Bullock, you heard all the winners, and your thoughts on the 2025 SB Awards.
Well, like you said, I mean, not a lot of them, basically, I mean, there were some that surprised me. I mean, like you said, I thought Cooper Flagg should have gotten it more than Ilona Maher. I mean, but at least he got the college basketball one. And then, of course, best team when it comes to the NFL was obviously the Eagles. And then, of course, with the Thunder, of course, most recently winning their NBA championship. And, of course, the Panthers repeating as champs. So, yeah, you basically said everything that you had that you said, Florio, when it comes to the ESPY Award. So congratulations to all the winners here. So there's really nothing more for me to say except I think we got one last order of business, Florio.
Indeed, we do, Bullock. And this past Wednesday, just hang on one second. Okay. This past Wednesday, the NHL released its 1,312 game 2025-2026 regular season schedule. The season will start on October 7th with a nationally televised triple header on ESPN in the United States and Sportsnet and TVA Sports in Canada. The schedule also includes 2 games in Sweden in November and a 19-day break in February for the Olympic Winter Games in Milano Cortina in 2026, which will feature NHL players on the world's biggest stage for the first time since 2014. The state of Florida will be front and center during the season. In fact, the first game of the season will see the 2-time defending Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers raise their banner before hosting the Chicago Blackhawks at Amerant Bank Arena at 5 p.m. Eastern. Also that night, the Pittsburgh Penguins square off against my and Michael Fletcher's New York Rangers at Madison Square Garden at 8 p.m. Eastern. Interesting game because Mike Sullivan was fired by the Pittsburgh Penguins and then hired by the New York Rangers. So Mike Sullivan, in his first game as Rangers head coach, will be coaching his former team, the team that he took to 2 Stanley Cups, back-to-back Stanley Cups in 2016 and 17. And then from there, the Colorado Avalanche will visit the Los Angeles Kings at Crypto.com Arena at 10:30 p.m. Eastern as part of that triple header. The following night, on October 8th, will feature TNT's season debut with a doubleheader featuring Michael Bullock's Boston Bruins visiting Alexander Ovechkin and the Washington Capitals at 7:30 Eastern. And Mitch Marner will make his Vegas Golden Knights debut at home against the Los Angeles Kings at 10 p.m. Eastern. That night will also see 4 Canadian teams in action as the Montreal Canadiens visit the Toronto Maple Leafs at 7, followed by the back-to-back defending Western Conference champion Edmonton Oilers hosting the Calgary Flames at 10 p.m. Eastern. Each game will be broadcast on Sportsnet and TVA Sports in Canada. October 13, which is Canadian Thanksgiving Day, will mark the first week of Amazon Prime Monday Night Hockey with a doubleheader featuring the Detroit Red Wings at the Toronto Maple Leafs at 4 p.m. Eastern, followed by the St. Louis Blues at the Vancouver Canucks at 7:30 Eastern. All 32 teams will be playing on October 11th and October 28th. The games on October 28th will be spread out, starting with the Pittsburgh Penguins at the Philadelphia Flyers at 6 p.m. Eastern, and concluding with the Los Angeles Kings at the San Jose Sharks at 11 p.m. Eastern. The Pittsburgh Penguins and the Nashville Predators will participate in the 2025 NHL Global Series presented by Fastenal and play regular season games in Stockholm, Sweden on November 14th and November 16th. The first rematch of the 2025 Stanley Cup Final will take place on November 22nd when the Florida Panthers host the Edmonton Oilers at Amerant Bank Arena, and then Edmonton will host Florida at Rogers Place on March 19th of 2026. The Thanksgiving Showdown will feature 2 original 6 teams, with my and Michael Fletch's New York Rangers visiting Michael Bullock's Boston Bruins on Black Friday, November 28th. The New York Rangers will also be in the national spotlight again on January 2nd when they play the Florida Panthers in the 2026 Discover NHL Winter Classic. The Panthers' first outdoor game and the NHL's first outdoor game in Florida will be held at Lone Depot Park, the home of Major League Baseball's Miami Marlins. January 17th will mark Scotiabank Hockey Day in Canada and will feature all 7 Canadian teams in action, including the Montreal Canadiens at the Ottawa Senators, the Toronto Maple Leafs at the Winnipeg Jets, the New York Islanders at the Calgary Flames, and the Edmonton Oilers at the Vancouver Canucks. On February 1, the spotlight will once again be on Florida, this time in Tampa, where the Tampa Bay Lightning will host Bullock's Bruins in the 2026 Navy Federal Credit Union Stadium Series at Raymond James Stadium, the home of the NFL's Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That same week, the NHL will pause after the games on February 5th for players to participate in the Winter Olympics in Milan, Italy, and play will resume on February 25th. The Walt Disney Company, which is ESPN and ABC, TNT Sports, Sportsnet, Amazon Prime Video, and TBA Sports are the NHL's national broadcast partners for the 2025-26 season and will provide comprehensive coverage throughout the season. Complete broadcast details will be announced when available. Well then, after listening to all of that, after hearing all of that, Michael Bullock, after you heard everything I just read off there in my notes, so what do you make of the 2025-2026 NHL schedule?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I mean, this is going to be some kind of season, of course. I mean, a lot of games that are basically to think of course, as you said, it's going to start on October 7th with a triple header on ESPN, of course. Of course, the first game, of course, will be the Florida Panthers, of course, once again raising another stake, and then of course, when they take on the Chicago Blackhawks, and of course the Pittsburgh Penguins and the New York Rangers at MSG, and then of course the Kings and the Avalanche. Like you said, the 8th, which is the season debut of the NHL on TNT, with the Bruins against the Capitals. Then, of course, it's the or should I say, yeah, of course, and then the Vegas Golden Knights are in action. So yeah, basically, yeah, I mean a lot. And then, of course, the rematch of the 2025 Stanley Cup Finals on November 22nd when the Panthers host the Oilers. And then, of course, Edmonton will take on Florida at the Rogers Place on March 19th. And then, of course, Florio, November 28th. Oh, it's the return of the Thanksgiving Showdown, and you know what that means.
Buddy Bowl time.
Yeet. Yep.
Me and MF with our Rangers coming to TD Garden to take on you and all our friends who are Bruins fans.
It's like it's an annual Thanksgiving tradition in the NHL. And of course, you got the... Oh, you were going to say something?
No, I was just going to say yes, sir. I mean, Rangers and Bruins, Black Friday. Don't get no better than that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And of course, January 2nd, of course, it's the return of the NHL Winter Classic. It'll once again involve your team, Florio,
New York Rangers.
when they play the Florida Panthers, and it's going to be the first outdoor game, and also the NHL's first outdoor game in Florida at the home of the Miami Marlins, Lone Depot Park. My only question to you, Florio, is how's that going to work?
Yeah, because it's hot as hell in Florida, as we all know.
Well, not as hot like it is right now.
Oh yeah, but
So
it's very warm. It's very warm in
let's
Florida.
not forget also there is a retractable roof.
There is a retractable roof, and let's also not forget there's history. Because let's not forget, it was the Florida Panthers who ended the New York Rangers' historic President's Trophy winning season in the Eastern Conference Finals in 2024. Don't think for 1 second that MF and I have forgotten about that, because we haven't.
Yeah, no doubt. Of course, January 17th, you got Scotiabank Hockey Day in Canada, and which involves all the Canadian teams in action.
That's
And then,
awesome.
of course, February 1st, it'll once again be focused on Florida, this time in Tampa, where the Lightning will host the Bruins in the 2026 Navy Federal Credit Union Stadium Series at Raymond James Stadium.
That's going to be something.
And then, of course, let's not forget also, of course, the NHL is going to go on a break after the games on February 5th because of the Winter Olympics.
NHL players back in it. That's awesome.
Yep.
Can't wait for that. And MF and I are going to be all over that.
Yeah, so there will be no All-Star game. It's just the players will be involved in the Olympics.
Absolutely.
And of course, we also can't forget, of course, the Bruins and the Panthers are going to face off. When are they facing off?
Oh, well, let me go back to my notes here. Just got to find it here.
I can look it up.
Yeah, you can look it up. But the notes that I had,
it'll be on October 21st.
What's that?
October 21st.
October 21. Okay.
Yep, Brad Marchand returns to the TD Garden to take on the Bruins. So.
Oh yeah.
And remember, he wasn't available to play the last season.
So, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets crucified in that one.
Oh, I would not be surprised if that happened. So, yeah, so there are a lot of games to, like you said, that should be intriguing. But, yeah, another season is going to get underway, and October can't get here fast enough.
Oh, no.
Even though, let's be quite honest, I still want to have the warm weather or enjoy it for now.
Of course. Of course. So
with that being said, Florio, let's put a wrap on this edition of TXN Sports World.
Yes, sir. This special Saturday night edition of TXN Sports World. And yeah, so as far as TXN Sports World is concerned, unfortunately, right now we are vastly approaching the slow period. Unfortunately, the dud period. You know, where there's not much exciting things to talk about in the world of sports. So TXN Sports World will be going on a bit of a hiatus right now because of this. So we are planning on being back sometime next month. I believe it'll be August 21st. We're aiming for a TXN Sports World return on August 21st. And that will serve as the season finale of our regulation shows. And on that show, we are going to preview the 2025 college football and 2025 NFL seasons. So we're going to preview college football and the NFL on Thursday night, August 21st. That is when TXN Sports World will be back from this slow period hiatus. But And with that being said, that will indeed put the bow on this special Saturday night edition of TXN Sports World. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in as always. We will be back with you again on Tuesday night at 10:30, right back here on the Tone 25 for another edition of Ridiculously Raw that will feature a big announcement as it comes to the to the Talking Wrestling TXN family. So we will address that on Tuesday night, and on that show, we will review Monday Night Raw and NXT. We might throw in a TNA Slammiversary review on top of that as well, and we would make that a right around the 10 to 10:30 threshold. Bullock and I will talk about that after the show's over. That'll be on Tuesday, and then on Friday we will have the Cerebral Smack Talk. I will once again sit in for MF, and on that show we will get into Friday Night SmackDown. Although we could save the Slammiversary for that too. I don't know. We'll have to figure that out. So that's it for future content for right now. Oh, actually, no. There will be no Cerebral Smack Talk on Friday night. I'm sorry about that. I forgot. Friday night, myself and Michael Bullock, along with our dear friend Mike Silvera, we will be heading to the Ryan Center at the University of Rhode Island in Kingston, Rhode Island for TNA Impact, as they are going to be doing a taping on Friday night, and we will be going to that. So there will be no show on Friday. We will have the Cerebral Smack Talk the following night on Saturday, next Saturday night, July 26th, and on that show we will share our experiences from the TNA Impact taping. So we're not going to give away any results or anything because they're going to be taping future shows. So that's it for future content. So until Tuesday night for Ridiculously Raw, where we'll get into TNA Slammiversary, Monday Night Raw, and NXT. This is Anthony Florio here for Michael Bullock. And of course, no doubt about it, always in spirit, our dear friend and brother and our tag team partner, good old MF, Michael Fletcher. MF, we love you. We miss you. We're thinking of you. Our thoughts and prayers with your family. Take care of your business, and we're hopeful of having you back soon. Don't rush. Take your time. Don't worry about these. Bullock and I, we got this. So we got you, man. Prayers up. And also in spirit, of course, our first lady of Talking Wrestling TXN, the one and only Twisted Angel Dee Dee Woodson. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah. Throw it up Fortune Force style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed few days. And until Tuesday night for Ridiculously Raw, you have been watching this special Saturday night edition of TXN Sports World right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube and StreamYard.com. For everybody who has been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio. So long, and bye, everybody. Bye.